That's why the Moors waking up. Look, so somebody stopped it. The Philadelphia parade where they march with the black face with our faces on, and then they go do it in England too, right? The Mamas parades. So I think they stopped that now. So, but there was maintenance. They did that every January 1st and April, like during the time when they sacked the Moors, like in 1492. So you think that was a maintenance ritual? Go ahead.
They still do it in Spain. They never stopped doing it in Spain.
Go ahead.
Right, and it is the maintenance of a ritual, right? But you brought up Crowley. Crowley was known as the Beast, 666, right? And he was known for being rebellious to every secret society he joined. Now, in order to understand what Crowley was and what Crowley was doing, you got to know his history. You got to know he grew up with a fanatical father that was a Christian preacher. And that he gave a vow that not only would he expose the church, but he said, this is when he was like 12 years old. He said he's going to expose the church, and he's going to go into the Masons, because the Masons was the ones who had the hold on his father stronger than the church, and put all of their secrets out. Right? He said, I'm going to tell it all. Right? So this is why none of the occultists of the era, they couldn't stand Crowley, because he was putting all of their secrets in the public domain. Right? His epic work, Gems of the Equinox, right? He got so much knowledge in there related to the practice of magic that was never supposed to get out into the public. It was supposed to be kept concealed behind large doors. That's the only way that the ones contracted as Masons, because they under contract if they in the Brotherhood. The ones those are speculative Masons. Operative Masons is the ones who live in their life doing the actual work, what they call the magnum opus, the great arcana, right, of building the society of heaven on earth in the midst of being attacked from all angles from the devil, who is the contracted ones. So it becomes a war against Masons and Freemasons, right? So in order to be a Freemason, you have to be a traveling man. You have to be on the land, occupying very diverse places and maintaining your character the whole time, which ties back to understanding what it means to be royalty. Royalty ain't just the blood alone. It's also the character development that makes you worthy to sit on the seat called the throne. You're not worthy if you don't go through the struggles of life to hone your character and your skill set so that you can be an asset to the collective instead of being a liability. Tyrants is liabilities. They only out for selfish gain and selfish agendas. So you don't want to put a tyrant on the throne. But you do want somebody that's strict. You do want somebody that stand on business. You do want somebody that won't back down in the face of a threat. Right? All it is the development of the self in operation. So you become what they call an operant Mason. The speculative Masons are the ones who studying what you're doing and trying to figure it out. What is he doing? Why is he doing that? So they study human psychology, sociology, and then they try to use that information to control all of the people. But some of us is uncontrollable. They're incorrigible. You can't control me, only I can control me, and I'm only going to let you control me to the degree in which it benefits me. When the benefit is gone, your control is lost. So Crowley did exactly what he said. He didn't stay with Blavatsky long because she was putting the secrets out in the open. He didn't stay with Israel Regardie long because he was putting the secrets out in the open. Right? He didn't even want to touch Rudolph Steiner because he wasn't scared of too many people, but Rudolph Steiner wasn't his cup of tea, nor was Franz Bardon. Right? But Crowley did exactly what he said he was going to do. Expose the church and expose the lies. He put the lies business out in the open. They put a hit on him. He just survived it.
And they ran him up out of was that England? They ran him up out of somewhere where their main stronghold was. He got ran up out of there. And they moved him out the country. It was Switzerland or somewhere. He got ran up out of there.
Yeah, he ended up. I think he died on a little island outside of Italy.
Yeah, he was trying to do this 6-month spell, the longest spell they got in their spell book.
Well, if you don't do the maintenance on them, then they dissipate. It's energy.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's like driving a car. If you don't put no gas in it, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The same engine that you burn gas in, with a few tweaks, you can burn water in it.
Yeah.
So the great deception come in and them telling you that the only way you can get this amount of power out of this engine is you got to use fossil fuel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 It's already somebody that they already converted it in the 1800s. Over here, we had cars running off of water. They come to find out that's what that dude was breaking down in that clip. I ain't played the whole clip, but he said that we were more advanced. Like Nikola Tesla was just a cover up. Like he said he's saying that we already had lights and plumbings and like sewer systems and everything over here before Christopher Columbus came. Like sewer systems.
Yeah, we had all that.
And trains and stuff.
We wasn't no Stone Age spear chucking backwoods. We didn't need weapons.
Yeah.
We only needed weapons to hunt. We didn't need weapons to fight war. We didn't have them kind of wars.
Yeah.
If it got bad enough, my chief gonna fight your chief.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or they gonna pick their champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say if it was a war to be won with the fist, Big Tookie and Mike Tyson would have took it a long time ago. It wasn't about that. Those were what they call them. Those were bullet points on the essay. Somebody that can do it all. It wasn't about physics. If it was about physics, Lord Quartermain would have took that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they couldn't create a atomic bomb out of Einstein's formula until they called in Lloyd Quartermain.
Mm.
It ain't about education, because Carter G or Amos Wilson, Hockey Naru Booty, they all would have took that a long time ago.
Mm. Right?
Half of this stuff Elijah would have took. There's some boys in the nation got them hands.
Yeah.
And, they just don't run around fronting that they got them hands, but don't pull up on one and try to find out.
Yeah, right.
Right? But, he was turning out champions of all caliber. He had Ali. Right? He had great authors that we look back now, we read these books. Some of them that wasn't formal members, like Dr. Clark, but he was feeding information to Elijah. Yeah. And Malcolm. And Martin. Right? Dr. Ben was feeding them information to keep their education program ahead of the fallacy. Right? So you got people like Chancellor Williams, whose information was fed through the nation. Destruction of black civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of that information, if the nation wasn't showing us what to read, we wouldn't have knew what we needed to read versus what they told us to read. We wouldn't have knew that we needed our information to offset what they was telling us.
Mm-hmm.
right? I was ordering college textbooks, but at the same time, I was in the Final Call bookstore and I was in the Essuala bookstore ordering books from us. Mm-hmm. Right? They had this. I had this one catalog called African World Books out of Philadelphia. I was ordering books out of, but then I was ordering books out of Edward R. Hamilton. And my brother and sister paid for all the knowledge. That's why I can give it away for free. It's been paid for already. It was paid. It was prepaid. Right. Right. I paid attention and they paid the bill. Right. So it's been double paid at that point, triple paid, because it was a brother, sister, myself, and then my attention. Right. So we was getting together, trying to formulate understanding of what was taking place. I didn't know I was going to be the chief they was going to call for this. I was living my life. But then the codes start coming in, and you can't duck them because you get bombarded by them. Mm-hmm. They activate you. You can't help it. You got to move in a certain direction. People think you insane. So I had to go get a psyche eval to prove I wasn't insane. So I sat there and told the history of psychiatry and psychology to the psychiatrist, who was perplexed. Why are you even here? You know this better than me. Mm-hmm. You are definitely not insane. But you got to also remember, intelligent people, smart people, sound totally batshit crazy to dumb people.
Right. Yeah, bro. Okay, we're gonna roll about 2 or 3 more, then we'll take some questions. I got another.
Almost all the ones I seen was passing. The telltale saying that somebody have some melanated DNA just don't got blind hair and blue eyes. That's the first saying that they mixed. The first saying. Half of them have no understanding of genetics, and they talking about white purity, which is an illusion. Because if they've been watered down to its whiteness, it's no longer pure. It's impure at its base. So they want to enforce white impurity, not purity. Because white purity would make them have to gravitate back toward being what they originally was before they got their genetics altered by some outsiders. Them people, 40 of them, they said, right? Mm-hmm. And all they had to do, they could just buy a plot of land, get a fraternal brotherhood, and they can control who come and live there on that plot of land because it's owned by the fraternal brotherhood. And the government will fight every fight they want the government to fight on their behalf. Mm-hmm. What you think all of that's what all of the sororities, the fraternities, them brotherhoods, sisterhoods, they protected under tribal rights, so the government got to defend them like they defending themselves. They don't have to defend people that's a non-association. You heard what he called it? He called it an association of, what he said was a volunteer association. That means people came together.
What'd you say, Dad?
No, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say you went right to where I was getting ready to go with the chat and asked the question about what gave them the legitimacy, right? And you went right into it, like you read my mind. Because you know how you say, like, the truth is always in front of you, right? So, like you say, just what your point is that what gives them the legitimacy to do this, right, is the right of free association. And if you have a collective group of people, right, binded by whatever they want to consider a similarity, and they are on and the name, the name of the land. What is it called? Land of
return something.
Return, right? So they have members worldwide with that. But when you think about just like how this is played, I mean, they gave you the truth. It's right there. All you had to do was listen, right? So I just wanted to emphasize that because that was that was interesting.
We don't have no problem with the Amish in their community.
Yeah, I think it's
we don't have a problem. What? No. Just think about it for a minute. Hey, don't nobody look like us live with the Amish. We don't care nothing about them one way or another. The ones of us that know about them, we don't care about them left or right. We don't have why.
I guess they
Why are they
just
so different?
well with the Amish people
Anybody?
pretty much quiet. I mean, it's like people don't really pretty much pay too much attention to them. But I think with these people, I think it would that they're trying. Not that I care, but I think that they would make it a problem. The Amish people are not saying that we're going to start Amish developments all over the world, and these people aren't allowed here. No, actually, other races of people actually go into the Amish communities. I know because in Pennsylvania they sell dogs, and they get you to build certain things for them, and furniture, sheds, because the Amish people built my shed. So
Put it up in the day.
huh?
Yeah, put it up in the day.
In a day. But what I'm trying to say is they're not being nasty. Like in a sense, this is almost like
It's your memory. What's happening is the people that's talking on that little clip, they don't bring back. We don't have no history of having to fend off the Amish from attacks. That history don't exist. The Amish live in harmony with the law of the land, which is tribal law, is the reason why we never have a problem out of it. And under tribal law, everybody have a right to form a tribe, which is a free association, normally made up of a family or a group of families that came together to help each other to come up from the dirt in order to have some. But these people in that clip, they financed by somebody. They promoted by somebody. The whole purpose is antagonism.
Yes.
Antagonism keep you from really seeing the source of the problem, and you focus on the symptom. So it's propaganda warfare at work. They never told us nothing to make us hate the Amish. They used to didn't even bother the Amish because they was following the law of the land. Now they be running up and harassing the Amish. The police harassing the Amish now, treating them like dark-skinned, woolly-haired people. Why are they all of a sudden starting to harass the Amish? Because the Amish honored their instructions when they came over here, right? The Amish was told y'all can have y'all whatever religion y'all want, whatever, keep it to yourself, stay in your area, stay with your people. Everybody was supposed to do that. That's why the colonists was told by the King of England not to advance beyond the Appalachian Mountains, because then they were subject to the punishment of the tribes. The tribes crossing the Appalachians was the biggest threat to the advancement of the corporation known as America. They did it anyway. Because they felt like because they had, back then it was the Navy of the British, the Navy of the French, the Navy of the Italians, the Portuguese, and the Dutch to enforce their will by military might over people that didn't believe in killing each other wholesale. Once they was able to see that we fought back, they had to come up with another plan, which brought us to the Conjure War. Right? We already, John D. told Queen Elizabeth the blood ritual that needed to be done in order to, he said, it's only gonna work for about 200 years. Because then the close of the age will be coming in and it'll naturally dissipate, and all conjures have to close at the end of the age. This is in the history of Heka out of ancient Kemet. It tell you at the close of the age, they have to call forth Tahuti to make sure that everybody that had an open conjure closed their conjures out. They major conjures. Minor conjures don't count. Your little love spell on your ex-boyfriend, that don't count. major conjurers affect masses of people. In the conjure was fighting last 1776 Boston Massacre and the assassination of Crispus Attucks, and writing that Constitution, the secondary Constitution, in his blood. They put it on display, but they never told you what it was. It's in I think Virginia at the George Washington Masonic Memorial, right along with the feds of the conjurers who worked the conjure. So they told us to stay away from voodoo because it was evil, but all the time they was using some stuff to make voodoo look like Sunday school teachers.
Well,
yeah,
well, there's people that are in Arkansas are not for it, and the people that are speaking up are white people. They don't want it. They don't want no. They think it's going to cause a problem. I think I sent you something on that, Dots.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can check. I'm not sure.
I think it was the last thing that I sent you to play. They don't want it. They don't want it. I think it's going to bring fear to the minds of the people. But here's the thing: the flag that they're purporting is made by a black woman. I mean, my whole thing is, if you're saying you don't want any of these people, are you not going to have any McDonald's around you? You're never going to go to any type of stores because black people are going to be there.
Well, from what it sounds like, they don't have a problem with crossing paths with them as long as they don't have to live with it. You can live with whoever you want to. They'd already moved in our house. We were letting them live here for damn near 500 years, rent free.
The land that they're saying they're going to do this on.
Look, them people, again, are financed. You can't let that get out of your mind while you analyzing it. As soon as you forget they financed the trauma of racism, history, entire